Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. So this video is going to be a direct response to a comment in a video that I did. So in my shorts, I did a video where I'm talking about how I did two parts. I'm sick of men, just complaining that mom won't let him see his kids. Okay. And there's a mentality that women own the children. And when you don't have a court order and you pick up your kids for 2 hours and she says, bring them back in 2 hours, and you want the kids longer, guys will just obey and come running and say, okay, here you go. Have your kids back. I'm sorry I even thought about taking them for a minute longer. And there's no court order, and she's keeping the kids as long as she wants, and you don't call the cops, or you know that the cops can't do anything, and yet you still obey her and give the kids back. Why? Because you're afraid of your ex. Because you're afraid of something that won't happen. Because you're paranoid and shaking in your boots. This is the paranoid thing. I'll talk to guys all the time. Well, can't I get arrested? Can't there be an Amber Alert? Well, what are Amber Alerts for? They're for people with restraining orders to take kids, or for strangers who kidnap kids. So you don't even know what the hell you're talking about, and you make up your mind a reason to be afraid to not do something. So this comment, I did a video talking about that. This guy commented and made up a lie and said, I make it out to be easy. And then he started harping on how it's not easy and it's not about growing some balls and being brave and fighting in this war. That's what it is with anything in life. So this guy, either he lost or he's bitter and he's hurt, and for good reason. I'm going to be as nice as I can about this because this is the exact problem that's going on. I never said this was easy. He said that I had it easy and I got lucky. So this is what drama queen males do. They make up an excuse. Oh, he got lucky. He had it easy. He didn't do this and that. That's what haters do in life with anything. Oh, Michael Jordan just got lucky. Phil Jackson just got lucky. Or Bill Gates just got lucky. Or Elon Musk just got lucky. Now, there's some people who are put up on a platform, or people who get, some people who make it somewhere have somebody help escort them there. But in general, most people who win any competition, most people who win any war are the ones who fight the hardest. And this is a war, and I'm telling guys to grow balls. And this guy is saying, well, let me just get to his comment. I posted it as a cover, but you can go to the video. JoseMayorGA, or JoseMayorGA for Georgia, 9488. He said, it's not about growing some balls. You got lucky, plain and simple. First of all, there's a drama queen, feminine, emotional basket case judgment in there. How does he know I got lucky? Because it took me 7 months to win my custody battle? I went through hell and pain like I've never went through my entire life. Only a drama queen would crap on somebody else like a high schooler who's mad that an average looking girl got prom queen and she didn't because she looks better. This is the mentality my gender has. So instead of this guy saying, James won, dang, what did he do? What could I learn from? How can I figure out how I could fight differently because I'm doing something wrong or the system's just against me? Now, it could be you do everything right and you still might lose. But the vast majority of guys who fight the right way win or do something better. And they have to work hard to do it. And they have to grow some balls. And this guy's first opening statement says, it's not about growing some balls. And when I talk about growing balls, I'm talking about having a warrior mentality, be willing to go through the fight, and this and that. This is probably the typical limp-wristed coward who fought once or twice, maybe kind of hard, and quit and gave up and said, this system sucks. I already know the system sucks. I already know it's biased against men. That's why you need to fight the same way that thousands of men have fought who have won. Why would you not go and look to see what a winner did instead of hating on the winner and whining and crying? We're all on the same team. This is why this guy, this Jose Mayor, he exemplifies, I'm pointing over here because I'm looking at the comment on my desktop. This guy exemplifies what's wrong with my gender. You go to court, you get bashed, you lose, you got PTSD, you can't believe the shock of how they could treat somebody like that. And you act like you're the first person in the history of the entire world civilization who's ever been done wrong. Women in the early 1900s had it bad in America. Black people obviously had it bad through the civil rights movement. There's no debate about that. Now people debate about how bad things are now and stuff because racism is intangible and it's hard to articulate and prove it to somebody who's not experiencing it. But There's no debate about how things were up until the civil rights movement. You know, Gandhi had some causes. You know, all kinds of other people had some causes. You know, the Japanese were in turn. Jewish people had their problems. You're not the first person in the history of the world to be discriminated against. Okay? So first of all, get off your high horse that it can't ever happen to me. How me? Why me? Now, I said that to myself. There were nights when I cried and I pouted and I was upset, but I did that in private and did that on my own because it was time to get up the next day and do what men do. You know, Andrew Tate whether you like Andrew Tate or not, he talks great motivationally about if your life sucks and you're depressed, go talk to a cancer patient, and if you can, terminal cancer patient, if you can convince them that your life sucks, then we'll help you or work with you. Okay? It's about perspective. Yeah, the system sucks. Yeah, it's overwhelming. Andrew Tate said this stuff right after he got out of jail for doing nothing. He went to jail and they extended his jail time and stuff like that. And he took advantage of it. He worked out more than usual, read books, fought off all the cockroaches that are on his face and stuff like that, and said, I'm going to come out bigger, badder, and stronger. Most men, like this JoseMayor dude. Now, I'm only pointing this out because this is a great example of what's wrong. And if you still don't get it, then you're just a hopeless case. Some of you guys wake up and get it and realize, I'm sick and tired of not fighting. I'm tired of my attorney not fighting. Or I went and I thought I must have done something wrong. There must be another way. Oh, James got full custody. Now, here's the other thing. He's so presumptuous and he's emotionally triggered by my words that he doesn't even know what the hell he's talking about, because I not only got full custody of my daughter at age 7 months and won my first try at contempt, we went back to court for 1.5 years when the mother tried to modify, and I destroyed her and the next family law attorney, and I destroyed her and the next guardian ad litem who was an attorney, and her next attorney didn't have 17 years experience like the first one. He had 37, and by the time I was done going to court with him, he retired with 50 years experience. So I still had to go to court and still went through hell, and this whole Jose guy is crapping on all the experience I learned with that. So I overcame an initial custody battle. For 1.5 years, I was dragged into court because why? I moved from Seattle to Tacoma. That's a 30-mile move, and the non-custodial parent can object to you moving. But think about it. If somebody is moving away to another state and moving me away from my kid, I should have a right to stop that move. My baby's mom lived in LA and I lived in Seattle, and she objected to me moving 30 miles. So here's Seattle up here. Here's LA down here. I moved this far and she objected to me relocating, dragged me into court for 1.5 years. Her attorney harassed me and called me a monster. That was hell to go through. I'm raising the child. The mother's not around. I'm abandoned. You know, she's abandoned the child. The mother's not around. And all they do is call me a monster all day long. That wears on your head. But what did I have to do to endure that and go through that and then fight it until the mother surrendered and her 1.5 years abuse of the process against me was dropped? I had to grow some balls. But in this comment, Jose said, it's not about growing some balls. You got lucky, plain and simple. So I got lucky in my second round. For the first battle was 7 months. The second battle was 1.5 years. Nothing changed. I was able to maintain everything the way that I wanted it to be maintained. And then I went to court to get child support changed because we had an order where the mother didn't have to pitch in for daycare and medical. My judge says, I'm not going to make her pay. I went to the Court of Appeals and got him reversed. That was a 2.5, 3-year process. So I just got lucky on that too. And then during the 1.5 year modification case, I had to go to the Court of Appeals for a discretionary review, which is harder than an appeal. I had to get them to intervene because a judge there made a bad decision. I got lucky at that. I had to fight off 7 different times the mother tried to get an anti-harassment order. First time, we had been talking and arguing on my right to see her. Then after that, I had never talked to her after that again. But they still tried restraining orders because that's what they do to abuse the system. So I got lucky with those 7 times. Then the mother had a female come to testify in her first restraining order attempt. An ex-girlfriend of mine, just a lady I was dating, not really a girlfriend, but I dated her. My baby's mom hated her guts, wanted to kill her, and they were supposedly friends. And then when we went to court, that was her number 1 witness. Her name is Mary Solscheid. Now it's Mary Beth Evans. She works at Washington State Employees Credit Union. She came to court saying, I opened an account at her bank around the same time that she started working there, and I walked into her bank one time and tried to paint me as a stalker. Well, I had no idea she worked there. I opened at a different branch when I worked at the University of Washington. It's the bank that everybody uses. So I signed up and she's trying to pay me a certain way. So I complained to her job because she went through my bank account and looked at the date I opened my account and the activity. Yeah, she has a branch in Seattle, like a couple other branches were there. And I did go in and see her. And then I never went in again. I went through the drive-through a couple times so I wouldn't have to see her because I was a delivery driver and that was on my route. So anyway, my point is, that lady, I complained about her going through my bank account, and my branch manager told me to complain about her. Then she tried to get a restraining order against me. I had to fight that, went to the Court of Appeals and the state Supreme Court, and then she dropped the whole thing. Was I lucky with that, Jose? And then, after a 20-year nice run of no drama with no women, I dated a woman, turned out to be crazy. I had to get a protection order against her. I won a protection order in emergency court, and then I won a full 1-year protection order. Did I get lucky doing that, Jose? I got a track record of trophy after trophy after trophy after trophy. Now I've won some and lost some, but I had to work extremely hard every time I won something. And sometimes it took months and months for the court to even take action. When you want to move fast and say, this person's a liar, this person's a perjurer, they're abusing the system. Sometimes it took weeks or months or years to get a resolution. But I kept at it and kept at it. Why? Because I had balls to fight through the torment of the family court system and get justice in the end. And this punk little sissy little simp dude comes on my page and said, it's not about growing balls. You got lucky, plain and simple. I've worked with thousands of men who were getting screwed, and then after they talk to me or some guys watch my videos thoroughly and go to court and watch a court case. Now, Jose Mayor, have you watched all my videos and have you gone to court on your own and studied the laws on your own like some other guys who got full custody and went to trial without an attorney? Did they just get lucky and it's not about them having balls and fighting? You're a lazy bum who lost in court, probably wrongfully, and I will give you that. I've never said this is easy, and never said the system's not corrupt and overwhelming. That's why it takes balls to overcome it. And haters and losers will always look at winners. Oh, they just got lucky or they got help. That's what people who live in impoverished mentality, they get mad at somebody who's rich. Oh, they just got lucky or their parents fed them a golden spoon. And totally crap on them working hard. But this is enraging because this is why there's no father's rights movement, because of guys like Jose Mayor. They will come in and whine and cry and piss and moan. The system's not fair. It sucks. Do you think Martin Luther King got lucky when he helped push? I don't know who actually got it signed in the legislature, but obviously Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were influential in the Civil Rights Act being passed. But I don't even care necessarily about a piece of paper, because you got to change people's hearts. They changed the culture. Do you think Martin Luther King... See, Jose Mayor would say, I assume he's Hispanic. Let's say Hispanic people have a problem in the community he's in. And then there's another city where Hispanic people got more people in government and things are changing for them. And Jose would say, they just got lucky. Because he won't get off his ass and go through all the trials and tribulations that get you to the end. Jose would say Martin Luther King just got lucky. The Civil Rights Act passed because Martin Luther King was just lucky he came at a time when everybody's heart was willing to change. No, he helped change the hearts of people. And he went to jail and marched and exerted and exhausted and poured out his life. So did Malcolm X. If you go watch Malcolm X, he actually got a bad rap. That dude has some great intellectual speeches, and he totally destroys people who hate his guts and sit in there articulating himself. Anyway, again, did Michael Jordan get lucky? 6 championships, 6 championship MVPs, league MVPs, scoring titles, or did he work his tail off ever since he got cut from his varsity team in high school? Michael Jordan's gifted athletically. There's a lot of players who aren't gifted like that. But there's our players who are gifted like that aren't half the player he is. What's the difference? Kobe Bryant can't jump as high and isn't as quick as Michael, and he'll admit that. How did he become possibly, the second greatest after Michael? According to some people, he's everybody's top 5, at least top 10. He worked hard, and they all will say, I worked hard. I did not get lucky. So this guy also goes on and says, what about the dads out there who took their own lives when all else failed? Now you're playing a female or a lawyer game, guilt tripping me because I'm sitting here saying this is the way to win. And those guys who killed themselves didn't do that and they lost. And all of a sudden, I'm a jerk and I don't care about guys who committed suicide. I've posted for years about the guy in North Carolina who did death by cop. I forget his name, but it was a Durham. I can think of this off the top of my head because I've been advocating for this all the time. See, I told you JoseMayor is a drama queen, little feminine, little simp, which is typical of men who are getting screwed in court. You want to go to court one time, and if you lose, you quit on your kids. Or two times, and if you lose, you say, the system. Here I come. Let me ask you this, Jose. If you have an attorney, and you lost with an attorney, that's number one. I won without an attorney. So the odds were against me. First of all, let me go back. He said that I was lucky. I'm a male, and I have a daughter. And the child was 7 months old when I got full custody. She was 4 months old when I got my first court order visitation of 5 days a week. Did I get lucky for that? No, I revolved my life around the child. I took a job at night so I could be available during the day. Most guys won't do that. Now, some guys feel that they can't, but that means that your kid isn't as important as your job most of the time. I deal with guys all the time who don't make their kid their world. If you don't make your kid their world, then quit on your case right now. Jose is saying, oh, that's too much. That's inconvenient. It's not about growing balls. You got lucky. You will not win in the circumstance that you're in, and most guys won't. The sissy, kitty cat, crybaby whining, I deserve to automatically get 50-50 because the mother doesn't have to fight. I shouldn't have to fight. You are in an unjust world with discrimination against men, with a bigotry against men. You have to overcome that, and it takes extra effort. Sorry, well, go watch a David Goggins video. If you don't know who Goggins is, Goggins. He said he was fat, he was lazy, he had learning disabilities. So what he did to get out of high school and to get through military training, Navy SEAL training, he had to study extra hard. And he didn't whine, cry, and piss and moan like, oh, it's unfair for the gifted intellectuals. It was unfair. But he said that's life. And then he said, sometimes maybe you're stupid, maybe you're lazy, maybe you have a genetic problem. Work harder and overcome that. And look at what that guy, he's nicknamed the biggest, baddest SOB in the world or something like that because all of his triathlons and all that other stuff. And I'm not telling you to run a triathlon. I'm telling you to fight for your child. And what I've done is the same exact thing and formula of what 300 dads who got full custody without an attorney have done and thousands more who went from supervised to every other weekend or every other weekend to 50-50. There's nobody out here doing and saying this, and I got my own gender hating on me, and people are like, let's start a father's rights movement. Bull crap. There will be no father's rights movement because there's too many JoseMayors out there. Now, maybe it says Mayor, G-A, maybe that's how that is the spelling of his name. I assume maybe it's Georgia abbreviation, or it's maybe Mayora. So I'll just say Jose. It's because of that mentality. I've been in father's rights movement groups. Dad's America, The Other Parent, toprights.org. They're all gone because they're all burnt out or they're all tired and they didn't want to try that hard. That's my gender. Jose is typical of my gender. They don't want to fight. They don't want to do a father's rights movement. I get all kinds of people who say, hey, James, let's start a father's rights movement. No, I'm not. I already did it before. I'm not doing that bull crap. You start a father's rights movement and then I'll come along and give some speeches, but you don't get to go, hey, Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or Michael Jordan, let's start a whole camps for youth in impoverished areas. Come along with me. No, you start it and ask Michael Jordan to appear. You don't ask the person who has trophy after trophy and they actually won and they're in a place where you want to be to come along and hop your bandwagon because you're needy and you want it and you want to do something about it. But you want this guy to do it. I'm a 5-star general. I have already earned my stripes. I don't need to start a father's rights movement. I don't need to start a group. I'm helping guys win right now. All that stuff that you want me to start for you will not ever work because there's too many guys like Jose who say, oh, what you did was you just got lucky. A hater, little biatch. That's what my gender is. That's what my gender is filled up. We're not going to ever have a father's rights movement. It didn't happen in the past 50 years. It's not happening anytime soon. The groups that I was a part of, there was a great father's rights law firm in Las Vegas for like 20 years. They sold their law firm to an attorney who promised to keep the father's movement legacy going. He didn't, and he sold out. They should have known that. They should have had some balls and brains to say, no, we're not going to give this over to some lawyer who's part of the system. So then Jose says, I like your passion to fight, but it's not a one solution fits all. Yes, it is, dumbass. Because I've seen 25,000 cases, and the only guys who win are the ones who do the stuff I'm talking about. Get on the offensive. Do discovery. Let me ask Jose, if you have an attorney, do they do a deposition on the mother? Did you start from the offensive going for full custody? No, you probably went for 50-50 or every other weekend. After you lost the hearing, did you do a motion for reconsideration? If you could go from a magistrate to a judge, did you do that? Did you ask for discretionary review from the Court of Appeals? No? Then you didn't even attempt to do half of what I did, and you did the loser strategy, and you half-assed it, and you said, my strategy doesn't work for everybody, and you never tried it. You see what a bunch of hater Mitches my gender is? This is the problem. And what's enraging is guys who get on here and say that. Now, I don't want to help a Jose. I don't want to turn him around because he's irredeemable. He has his mind made up that when somebody else wins in court, they got lucky because he lost and he was half-assing it. I guarantee 100% of people I've ever talked to in 20 years of doing this, 100% of them, not one of them have done everything that they should be doing. Some of them have done a couple of things, but like when guys say, yeah, my lawyer did a deposition, I say, okay, what questions they asked? They half-assed the deposition. They didn't even do that right. They didn't do it aggressively. The other side is over there aggressively crucifying you. And guys like Jose is like, oh, I don't want to go in there and crucify the mother and attack her. She's lying. She's on drugs. She's suicidal. She's abusing the children, withholding them from you. Why won't you call that out? Because you're a sissy and you need to grow balls. But Jose up here says it's not about growing some balls. So this Jose guy, who's a total expert on family court because he's losing in his one case, and I've dealt with 25,000 cases, he says, many factors including the type of judge you get on that day. Well, duh. If you have a judge who's inclined to help a father, then you might get something favorable. But I'm a white male with a biracial child, the mother's black, and the child was a toddler and an infant when I was winning. I had all the odds against me. There was no luck. I went in front of several different judges. The first judge I went in front of, I got 0 visitation. Then I appealed from a commissioner to judge because I'm not a quitter like Jose. I went from a commissioner to a judge. The judge gave me 5 days a week, same courthouse. So yeah, I already know that, but that's not the end all be all. Most judges are against fathers. The judge I went in front of had an attitude toward me. She said, you can't have overnights. You can't handle the child for more than 8 hours. You get 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, and 8 hours on Saturday, or 4 days a week. She still crapped on me. I still got bigotry and bias. I should have had the child overnight, and I should have been able to have at least 8 hours when the mother's at work and I'm available. But this stupid jackass is making every whining, pouting, crying excuse like a little baby you can't have his rattler or his toy, or a baby who's saying, oh, they took my teddy bear. And then you give them a teddy bear. No, I want that one. If it was easy as you make it out, most fathers actually achieve full custody already. I never said it was easy. Look at my gender. This is a histrionic, or this is a straw man argument. He says, James, you say that it's easy. I never said it's easy. I just got them. See, look at how this guy contradicts himself. First he says, it's not about growing balls. I say grow some balls and work hard because it's hard. Then later in his same paragraph, he says, you make it look like it's easy. No, I didn't. And this guy is a bipolar. This is the type of baby mama that you deal with. A bipolar, all over the map, emotional basket case hater. It's not about growing some balls. Yes, it is, because you got to work hard, period. It's a war. It's a custody battle. Then later he says, you're making it out to be easy. Well, I just got done saying you got to have some balls to fight. Which one is it, Jose? See, you don't even make any sense. All you want to do is whine, cry, and pout because you don't want to grow any balls, because you think you automatically should win in court. You have never tried doing a deposition like I tell people to do. You haven't done reconsiderations. You haven't done a discretionary review or interlocutory attempt at a decision. When you've lost hearings, you haven't done reconsideration. I've done 3 reconsiderations in a row before I won in the Court of Appeals. I kept going when I lost. And you said I got lucky. My file is filled with 1,100 documents. Your file probably has 40, maybe 100. The most complex, hardcore fighting divorces usually come up with 200, 250 after the original divorce. And that's when you have property and all that stuff. If you just have a custody battle, it's usually 100. I got 1,100 documents in my file. The baby's mom's attorney hated me so much after I exposed him. Have you done videos on the judges? Have you protested the judge in his neighborhood that you dealt with? Have you protested the attorney? See, he says many factors include the type of judge you get on that day. Okay, when a judge rules against you and they have bigotry in their head, what you do is you expose them and do a video and say, this judge did this in this case. This judge has given a blind mom who let their child get burned on a stove custody, and the father who could see perfectly fine doesn't get custody. I have protests where I'm holding signs like that. And the dads in these cases don't even protest. I have protests with a case number saying this judge placed a child with a mom with a registered sex offender boyfriend. And then I embarrassed them, and then the judges started changing their minds. Jose is a feminine little bitch who's whining and crying saying, I think that is easy. I'm out here trying to change the minds of judges. He goes, many factors include the type of judge you get on the day. Well, what are you doing to unbrainwash the judges who are bigoted against the men? Have you done a motion to recuse because of their prejudice? Have you even attempted that? I guarantee you haven't. And if you lost that, did you appeal it to the Court of Appeals? Did you write a complaint to the Code of Judicial Conduct, Commission on Judicial Conduct? Are you protesting outside the court and embarrassing them? So, like I said, when I've done protests with the case number and with the result, see, these judges do stuff secretly in a private bubble. Nobody ever finds out about this stuff. But when you publish it, they come to work embarrassed and everybody's looking at them because I'll email all the staff at the courthouse. I will protest the judge with a case number. Whether the sheriff comes out and tells me to move or not, I'm standing my ground. I'm out here with balls doing stuff, and some judges start making more fair decisions. Right after I protested one particular judge, after she screwed two guys over, the next case I heard of, she gave him 50-50. But Jose wants to sit on the sideline on his ass and not do a damn thing except whine, cry, and complain and say, well, James, you say guys have to work hard. That's not about it. Well, James, you say it's so easy. Which one is it? Make up your emotional basket case feminine mind. This is what's wrong with my gender. If you want to go to war and fight for your kid, get some help with somebody who's won. Get some help with somebody who's helped other guys win. I got testimonies all over Instagram under the hashtag HIGC testimony. You can look for yourself, or you can get off your lazy ass, unlike Jose, or get off your tail, unlike Jose with his lazy ass, won't even look at my winning documents. I don't just have a custody order. I have a contempt win. I have defenses against restraining orders. I have 2 wins in the Court of Appeals. I have a transcript from a judge who said, you should go to law school because the way you wrote the stuff up, because I worked extremely hard to get what I want. And this guy comes in because he's a loser, crybaby, who doesn't love his kids enough to fight for them the right way. He wants to go in and half-ass it and thinks he should win and thinks he's entitled, like somebody on welfare who's got food stamps. Oh, Bill Gates, just his parents hooked him up. He didn't have to work hard. Or Elon Musk didn't have to work hard. Or Denzel Washington didn't have to work hard. He got a lucky break. Like, look at somebody like Denzel Washington. You know, win after win after win after win of epic movie. He got lucky. Maybe he got a lucky break to get in, but he worked his tail off. Sick and tired. So I do a video, sick of posts of men getting on there and complaining, and Jose gets on there and complains and craps on what I do. I just want to do one video of that because I get haters like this all the time. This guy broke it down so much that he ran out of things to say that he had to contradict himself, only like a drama queen, female, crazy baby mama would. And this is what my gender is filled with. This is why there's no father's rights movement. This is why things won't change. If all you guys gave half the effort that I gave, you'd be winning in court and you'd be changing the entire court system, because we need to change the hearts of judges. We don't need to change the laws. The laws are great. The judges just don't apply them. Wake the hell up. Don't be a Jose Mayor. Don't be a punk A.B. Don't be a crybaby. If you don't like me, go on to the next one and go hire another attorney for $400 an hour to help you lose. Or maybe you should give it a try for extremely cheap, like all these free videos. If I added up, last year, one time I added up all my videos and all the time, it would have cost you $50,000 to sit down and listen to an attorney talk about the stuff I'm talking about. But guess what? Attorneys won't even tell you the stuff that I'm telling you. I'm telling you stuff and giving you free game, and Jose is like, oh, it's not as easy as you said. He watches one video, and being a typical lazy, limp-wristed, shiftless, typical male, you know, women got the curse of Eve where they always want to dominate and rule over man, and they never stopped. Men got the curse of Adam where they don't want to work for their food, okay? This guy has got the curse of Adam big time. He's lazy, shiftless, and just wants to complain. What did you accomplish by your comment anyway? I'm still helping guys win. I just got a story from another guy who won in court. I'm about to have a phone call with a guy who's about to win. There's guys who are getting on the offensive and doing something, and even if they lose, at least they tried so they could face their kids one day and say, look at this stat. That was my biggest motivation. I was going to face my daughter, and she says, Dad, how come you weren't in my life? Because of this, look at this paperwork stacked to the ceiling in the file. I tried everything. Go talk to your mom about it. A Jose can't say that because he quit after the first hearing that he lost. At least I could face my daughter. And it turned out I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just fighting for my kid because the most important thing in my life was my child. Jose's kids are not the most important thing because he wants to whine and cry and run around. I'm on social media sharing with people how I won. He's on social media running around and say, oh, you won, you suck, and you suck. And you suck. Why don't you turn that energy and work and go study some law? Learn how to represent yourself. Don't contact me. I don't want a hater to call me. But feel free to watch my videos. There's several guys who have won just watching my videos. There's testimonies of that. I never had an appointment with them. They just watched my videos. They had to do a little extra too because they had to go to a trial, watch a trial. They had to go and do some extra stuff. If you get a consult with me, you'll have a shortcut. You won't have to do all that extra stuff. But some guys chose, maybe they were broke, I don't know. But some guys chose to do it on their own. You want something done right, do it yourself. More power to them. Jose, watch all my free videos and start doing the stuff that I'm talking about and see if things change. But you won't do that because your kids aren't that important. My kid was my life. Outside of going to work, I had nothing else to do in my life but figure out what's the next step. That was hard work. And Jose says, I got lucky, plain and simple. A feminine, metro, Mitch of a male, feminized, limp-wristed, lazy, shiftless, coward male is hating on me, has no idea the hell that I went through. Now, I could get up here and whine and cry about everything that I went through. I'll give little snippets about what I went through so you guys can know you can overcome it. I beat an attorney with 17 years experience when the mother also had a guardian ad litem. Most of you know guardian ad litems are a bunch of radical feminists, man-hating lesbians who got molested by their dad and they're out for vengeance on the world, right? The mother had such a guardian ad litem. She defended the mother on my contempt. I got contempt. She defended the mother and tried to get her not to sign off on an order that I got full custody on and tried to pin me with domestic violence classes to set me up so she could modify later. She didn't get that. Then next time around, the mother got an attorney with 50 years experience. I destroyed him in court. I have wins against him. And the mother had another guardian ad litem with like 18 years experience who's a lawyer. I destroyed both of them in court over and over again. And I beat the presiding judge. I beat the presiding judge. I got the presiding judge in Seattle, Judge Jim Rogers. Go look at my orders. I got him reversed because I worked hard. An appeal is not easy. Most attorneys don't do appeals because it's too hard. And Jose is sitting here saying, you got lucky. Screw off, dude. You're the reason why the system is the way it is because too many punk, simp, limp-wristed, effeminate, not beta males like you are running around whining and crying about the system not doing anything. Meanwhile, I'm helping guys win. If you want some help, come on the winning side.